In the days when Israel was besieged by foreign powers, there lived a woman whose name would echo through history as a symbol of resilience and divine intervention. Her name was Judith, and her story is one of bravery in the face of overwhelming odds, a narrative that has been both celebrated and suppressed over centuries. The land of Bethulia, a small yet strategic town in Judea, faced imminent destruction at the hands of Holofernes, the ruthless general of King Nebuchadnezzar's vast Assyrian empire. With his massive army encamped outside the city walls, Holofernes demanded unconditional surrender. But the people of Bethulia refused to bow before their oppressors, trusting instead in the Lord for deliverance. As famine gripped the town and hope waned, the elders gathered to debate their fate. Some advocated for surrender, believing resistance was futile. Others clung to prayer, hoping God would intervene. Amidst this turmoil stood Judith, a widow known for her wisdom, beauty, and unwavering faith. Judith, adorned in mourning garments since the death of her husband, listened intently as the elders argued. Though she had no formal authority, her words carried weight because of her reputation for piety and discernment. Rising to address them, she spoke with conviction. "Do not lose heart. Our salvation does not lie in human hands but in the hand of God alone. If we trust in Him, He will find a way to save us." Her speech inspired many, but action was needed. That night, under the cover of darkness, Judith devised a daring plan. She bathed, dressed herself in her finest garments, and prepared provisions for a journey into enemy territory. Taking only her loyal maidservant with her, she slipped out of the city gates unnoticed. Judith and her servant traveled toward the Assyrian camp, praying fervently along the way. When they arrived, they were captured by scouts and brought before Holofernes himself. Struck by Judith's beauty and poise, the general welcomed her warmly, assuming she sought peace negotiations. Cleverly, Judith feigned allegiance to the Assyrians, claiming that the people of Bethulia were doomed and that she wished to assist Holofernes in securing victory. Impressed by her apparent loyalty, Holofernes invited her to dine with him in his tent. Each evening, Judith attended these feasts, gaining the trust of the general while secretly fasting and praying during the day. She observed his habits, learning when he was most vulnerable. One fateful night, after indulging in food and wine, Holofernes fell into a deep sleep. Seizing the moment, Judith approached his bedchamber with determination. Drawing his own sword, she whispered a prayer for strength and struck swiftly, severing his head with 2 powerful blows. Wrapping the head in a cloth, Judith and her servant fled the camp undetected, carrying their grisly trophy back to Bethulia. Upon their return, the townspeople rejoiced, marveling at how God had used Judith to bring about their deliverance. When the Assyrian soldiers discovered their leader's death, panic spread throughout the camp. Leaderless and disorganized, the once mighty army retreated in chaos, leaving Bethulia victorious. The people praised God for His miraculous intervention and hailed Judith as a heroine. In the years that followed, Judith became a revered figure in Jewish tradition, remembered for her courage, faith, and ingenuity. Her story served as a reminder that even in the darkest times, God can work through ordinary individuals to accomplish extraordinary feats. Yet, despite its profound significance, the Book of Judith has often been marginalized or excluded from certain religious traditions. Some have questioned its historical accuracy, while others have viewed its graphic elements as inappropriate. Nevertheless, its message endures, a testament to the power of faith, the triumph of good over evil, and the enduring legacy of a remarkable. Today, the story of Judith continues to inspire readers across cultures and denominations. Whether seen as a parable of divine providence or a celebration of female agency, her tale reminds us that true heroism lies not in brute force but in steadfastness, cunning, and reliance on something greater than ourselves. And so, the untold and forbidden story of Judith lives on, not merely as a relic of the past, but as a timeless call to action for all who dare to stand against injustice and oppression. The story of Judith. Background. In the days when Nebuchadnezzar ruled over the vast Babylonian Empire, he sought to conquer all nations under his dominion. One such nation was Bethulia, a small Jewish town nestled in the hills of Judea. When the king's general, Holofernes, laid siege to the city, cutting off its water supply and food, the people of Bethulia were on the brink of starvation. Desperate for salvation, the elders of the city debated whether they should surrender to Holofernes or continue holding out in hope of divine deliverance. Among them was Judith, a widow known for her wisdom, piety, and beauty. Though she had no official authority, her words carried weight because of her reputation as a woman of virtue and faith. Judith's plan. Seeing the despair of her fellow citizens, Judith devised a bold plan. She approached the elders and said, "Do not lose heart. I will go to the enemy camp and strike down their leader with my own hands." Her proposal shocked everyone, but her unwavering confidence inspired trust. That night, dressed in her finest garments and adorned with jewels, Judith set out with her maid toward the Assyrian encampment. Carrying provisions and pretending to be a defector, she claimed to have insider knowledge about how the Israelites could be defeated. Her beauty and eloquence captivated the guards, who quickly escorted her to Holofernes himself in the enemy camp. Holofernes, mesmerized by Judith's appearance and charm, welcomed her warmly. He invited her to dine with him, hoping to win her favor. For several days, Judith gained his trust by offering sage advice while secretly plotting his downfall. Each evening, she attended feasts in his tent, drinking wine and eating delicacies provided by the Assyrians, but always maintaining control over her actions. One fateful night, after a particularly lavish banquet, Holofernes became drunk and retired to his bedchamber. Recognizing her opportunity, Judith followed him into the tent. As he lay unconscious, she prayed silently to God, asking for strength and guidance. Then, seizing his sword, she struck twice, decapitating him in one decisive blow. With trembling hands, Judith wrapped the head in a cloth and handed it to her maid, who placed it in a food sack. Together, they slipped quietly out of the camp, retracing their steps back to Bethulia. The triumph of Bethulia. When Judith returned to her city, she displayed Holofernes' severed head atop the city walls, rallying the people to fight against their oppressors. The Assyrian army, leaderless and disorganized without their commander, fell into chaos. Seizing this moment, the Israelites launched a surprise attack, driving the invaders away and securing their freedom. The victory at Bethulia became legendary, celebrated throughout the land. Judith, hailed as a heroine, lived out the rest of her life in peace, never remarrying but remaining devoted to God until her death. Legacy and symbolism. Judith's story has resonated through generations as a symbol of bravery, faith, and resourcefulness. In art and literature, she is often depicted holding the head of Holofernes, embodying triumph over tyranny. Beyond her individual acts of heroism, her story underscores the power of divine intervention and the importance of trusting in God even in the face of overwhelming odds. Her legacy also challenges traditional notions of femininity, showcasing a woman who uses intelligence, wit, and courage to achieve greatness. For many, Judith remains an enduring figure of inspiration, a reminder that even in the darkest times, light can emerge through acts of faith and determination.